Welcome back, folks. So what we're featuring today is the RZR, the Polaris RZR. I have a video of its functions, how it moves. This is a little bit more of a detail on the build and why I built it the way I did, and just a little bit more of kind of like a do-it-yourself kind of situation. So if you haven't checked out the video, it's a real quick video on the functionality of it and how it moves in the sand, and how it looks when it's running around. This vehicle, I saw it a while back ago. I was always searching for it. It seemed a little bit hard to find. Come to find out, it was at Walmart this whole time. It was at Walmart, but online is where I found it. There was a few people that did reviews and customs on this particular toy. The toy itself, it seemed to be licensed from Polaris, so it's fairly accurate as far as the body's concerned. Now, when Walmart went ahead and did their version of the remote control, it kind of went off the base of the actual vehicle. The tires were like sticking out, and it just looked awkward. The vehicle itself does exist. There is a Polaris RZR out there that looks like this, as a 2-seater and a 4-seater. Walmart had a 4-seater, and it made it, of course, into the RC, and it kind of discombobulated it. It was toy grade. The body itself, licensed, but the mechanics of the RC just kind of looked weird. And having said that, it looked weird from the actual vehicle. The actual vehicle, it's kind of a specialty vehicle for the military and for fun, I suppose, you know. But for the military specs, I think it makes it look a little bit weird. As you can tell, these tires are small, even compared to the ATV that I have over here. The vehicle size compared to the tires, it just looks awkward. But in actuality, the real life vehicle, if you take note of it, the tires are tiny compared to the vehicle. But that's kind of what happens. Sometimes by design, sometimes by military specs. I know that these vehicles, whenever they do go into like military contracting and whatnot, they have specifications on how they build them, the size, the dimensions, you know, to see if it's gonna fit in a C-130, an Air Force pilot, if it could be airdropped, weight, all that stuff it gets taken into consideration when they build these things, in order for them to win the contracts. But this vehicle, from my understanding, it's been fielded by the Army and some special forces, so it's a utility vehicle, and it's pretty cool from what my understanding, and it looks pretty cool. A little bit bigger than the ATV and has cargo capacity, 2-seater. So yeah. So when I saw it, I did see it in it being modified from the original version, like being painted. They did a couple add-ons. They're pretty cool out there. If you get a chance, look up their videos. I don't remember the names of the people that did it, but the 4-seater, the configuration is cramped. As you can see, we have Outback here, and he's pretty. He has a tiny bit of headroom. He's one of the bigger GI Joes, I believe, so that's understandable. But even then, what I had to do was minimize these seats. Now, in the real version of the RZR of this vehicle, these seats are minimized. Back here, the back plate, it's literally, I'm pretty sure it's like a piece of wood or some piece of plastic, but there's no cushion whatsoever. You know, keeping in mind weight specifications and also all the gear that the folks that drive these, they're gonna have a lot of gear, so you kind of got to minimize that. And for this RC Custom, same thing happened. I had to minimize these seats. This is from the original, but pretty much shaved down all as much as I could without compromising the actual seat. And then for the back, I just got a little piece of plastic and cut out what looked like, from my research, what looked like the shape of the seat that they actually had. And of course, I did cut the 2 back seats out, because of the tires and the size. It was gonna look even more awkward, even though I know it exists. It just, I don't know, I just didn't want to do that. Maybe if I ever find another one of these, then absolutely I'll probably try that 4-seater. Unfortunately, when I did find it at Walmart and I ordered it, they were so cheap too. I wish I would have gotten like more. But by the time I found it, ordered it, it got shipped to me. And then I saw it, and I saw, you know, that the base and everything was absolutely workable to be a custom. When I got back onto the Walmart site and was getting ready to order some more, they were all sold out. And they were cheap. I think I paid $27 or $32, somewhere around there. And I've been searching for them. I just can't find them. Maybe one of these days I'll run into it at a Goodwill or something. If you folks know where they're at, let me know. I'll definitely, and if you want to get rid of them, I'll buy them off your hands. Beyond that, let me see the seats, and then of course I cut it. I filled in the cut with epoxy, so the cut is, if you could imagine it, I cut it here, so this is the body, and then in between this, the back, there was those extra 2 seats right there. And you can see this piece. I think if you have one of these original ones, you can use these 2 pieces right here to see where I actually made the cut. Beyond that, I maintain the body the same. Beyond the cut in the middle, getting rid of those 2 seats, and then minimizing the seats themselves. The body's pretty much the same, besides the paint job, of course. I was able to incorporate lights into it, so that was good. And then the base itself, I know I've mentioned this before in my other videos. This is the actual vehicle that I use for this one and most of my other customs as well. This ATV also has one of these in it. This is a very versatile vehicle. It's rare that I use the same vehicle over and over again, but this one is so, I mean, it's lightweight for the size of the engine, size of the motor, I mean. It's fast and it has a lot of torque. It's 4x4. It's very responsive. I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about this. The only thing that I wish they would do is cap off these shocks here, because once this opening here gets dust in there, it just starts jamming up. As you can see here with this one, I did change out these shocks, partly because I needed to change the angle of the connecting points in order for me to incorporate these tires. These tires aren't, of course, original to this vehicle. I just have tons of tires lying around, so these are the ones that fit the overall aesthetic or the overall look of this. I did have to sacrifice the width here, even though they were in diameter, they were good. The width for this vehicle, these tires width is not proportional to the actual RZR in real life, but I did make the sacrifice. So I did change the shocks here. I changed the connecting points for the posts, for here as well as in the back. So there does have 2 detent pins on the front and the back, so I could remove this body and Oddly enough, this vehicle still has a good amount of space where I can add any more electronics. I was thinking of actually giving Outback a jacket and making him be able to steer the RZR. So just adding another servo in the bottom that connects with the steering here so he could turn. And if he has a jacket on, I could also put a servo inside his body and through the back, so his head can move. I'm still debating whether I want to do that or not. If you haven't seen my video for my ATV here, this ATV with Scarlett, she is able to, I've incorporated like 3 servos in this. So she has a servo inside her body as well as a servo underneath the steering, and that is incorporated with the actual steering. So whenever the tires move, the bars move, and then her head moves along with it. So it's not too hard. If you get a chance and you're thinking about how I did that, just look at this video, and I go into it pretty in depth as far as how I did that. So going back to this vehicle, like again, this vehicle is very versatile. I usually just remove the battery, these 2 batteries on the side, and I reconnect or rewire the power source. So it's very slender, and it's right down the middle. That's one of the biggest characteristics of this vehicle. This vehicle comes in all sorts of different forms. It's been repackaged at least 3 or 4 times that I've seen. Right now, the only real solid source for this vehicle that I've found is AliExpress, I believe. They have this one, and it's fairly pricey right now. It's at $100. When they were pretty popular when they came out, and I kind of saw that I was pretty versatile, I bought them, and they were about $40. I don't know why the price went up, maybe because of the scarcity, or people started liking them, and with the popularity, the price went up. But unfortunately, it did go up. On eBay, keep your eye out for these if you want to use these. I do. So if you don't snatch them up, I'll probably snatch them up. But one of the biggest characteristics is that motor being in line. I always talk about that motor being in line. For some weird reason, that little motor gives you a lot of speed and a lot of torque. It can handle the extra weight. I mean, I've used this on even bigger vehicles. On my other videos, I show you how to split it down the middle and extend this. As far as the wheel base is concerned, that's easily extendable. And then this wheel base from left to right, it's fairly small. So it's very useful for a lot of vehicles. I don't mess with this width. I do extend this width. And it's really just about cutting down the middle, reconnecting that drive shaft, reconnecting the body, making sure it's aligned. And that's it, really. Using some reinforcement pieces and a really strong glue with some aggregate, and you're good to go. I don't take it easy on my vehicles. I take them out in jumps. I roll them over. I full speed, and I kind of abuse these vehicles as much as I take care in building them. I don't really take it easy on them. If they get scratched up or if they break, then I didn't build it strong enough. So it can take some pretty good beating. All right. With that extra weight, I was really impressed with the shocks of this. With another figure and some gear in the back, I think it's gonna move pretty good. Because the vehicle is a little bit top heavy on this one, I know it has a tendency to want to roll over. So when I take turns, I have to be kind of take it easy on that as far as the speed is concerned, just because I don't want to bother to go walk over and pick it up. But I would think that the real vehicle probably has the same tendencies. Just because of the look, it looks top heavy with small tires and a small width, but that's just one of those things. So yes, beyond the little functions of that, I don't think I've messed with too much. I did mention that I did change these shocks. These shocks do take care of that little discrepancy of these shocks being open, but also I had to reassess where I had to put those the connecting points for those shocks. I did have to remodify the connecting points. So the connecting point for the shocks to accommodate for this wheel, it was a little bit closer to the wheel, but that would be bumping into the actual tire, and when it turned, I needed that extra clearance. So these two shocks have been moved inward a little bit more. That wasn't too hard. It's just about really cutting the connection point, reinforcing it, and then just tagging them up. And beyond that, I can't think of anything else. I know I kind of, how do you say, maybe I'm not making it to seem as hard because I've been doing this for a while. So if I go over something and it doesn't make sense, let me know. I take it for granted what I've learned throughout the years, and I've been building these for years. I still haven't mastered everything, but I know that I could take things for granted or don't notice that I'm skimming over something that might be difficult. So like I always say, feel free to send me a message on the YouTube channel. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. If it gets complicated, then I'll make you a little video and send it to you to try to explain my technique as far as this is concerned. Every build is different. Some of the techniques, like using this, using the RCs, and then the technique of splitting it down the middle and then extending it, that seems to be kind of my go-to move for these. And other RCs that I use, I have to use that technique sometimes. So that those techniques seem to be like a reoccurring theme for my building RCs. So yeah, if you folks have any other questions, shoot me a message, and then I'll try to help out as best as possible. And hopefully you enjoy, and these my builds inspire you to do your own. These things are fun. I mean, they can be very challenging to create, but part of figuring out that those fixes and how to modify it and how to build it, and then seeing the final product, the journey is kind of gratifying. To see the product and then take it out there and have fun with it. So yeah. Oh yeah, I did want to mention, this is kind of one of my little pet projects. Got the ATV. This is going to be kind of like a fire team. I also have a 1/18 scale mech. It's a Votoms. I think it's VOTOMS, red shoulder. I was lucky enough to find a 1/12 scale mech of that. So I'm working on modifying that into a desert color scheme. So this is going to be part of my fire team. So it's going to be my scout, my forward observer, force recon kind of vehicle. This is going to be my backup, my heavy equipment, repairs, extra ammo for the mech. And the mech, of course, is going to be the thumper. I'm thinking of putting Doc here and maybe a gunner with a maybe a saw or a Golf machine gun back here as the support. So I should have a recon support vehicle, and then the thumper being the mech. So that should be fun. And I did also want to mention, again, another tangent. If you folks are interested in buying these, most of my vehicles are for sale, or if not, I'll entertain any kind of like any kind of sales, any kind of interest on this. These I probably wouldn't sell them until I get done with the mechs, just so I could take some pictures for the whole team together and seeing the whole thing. But after that, you know, they're probably gonna go for sale. I wish I could keep them all, but I'm running out of space. So if you're interested in these, let me know, and then we can negotiate something. Even if you don't, you know, not necessarily money, but we could trade if you're a collector or you build your own. But we could talk about it. All right, folks. No more tangents, I think. Yeah, no more tangents. So have fun out there, and can't wait to see your builds.